Okay, so now I'm going to swing around. We're back to where we were when we started, right? And talk about that question that we're reading about for Friday, which is the relationship between Roosevelt and Churchill and how it helps to forge a special relationship during the war. Because even though the Roosevelt administration is not like writing off American indebtedness to, or British indebtedness to the United States from when Roosevelt comes into power in 1933, right? Roosevelt is much more concerned than many of these backwoods isolationist senators that Churchill is deriding with events in Europe. And he's much more anxious about the rise of fascism on the continent. And after Britain goes to war with Nazi Germany and later with Italy, is more concerned than to do have America do what it can for the British war effort, even though he's conscious that American public opinion at the time, and particularly opinion within the Senate, is not at a point at which, before ultimately you have the U.S. being brought into the war by the attack on Pearl Harbor, to have the U.S. formally joining as an ally of the United States. And so you get both this financial collaboration in the terms of the Lend-Lease policy, right, where material and economic aid are being given to the British war effort in exchange for leases on naval bases around the globe. Again, you can see the way in which the British Empire's global reach and global space is something that the Americans are keen to angle in on. And even when they're doing something which is truly and genuinely intended to help the British war effort and to help Britain hold out against the Nazi menace, they're doing it in a way that also helps some of the bigger interests of Britain, which are, or a bigger interest of the United States, which are an angling in to a degree on the dominance of the British Empire in a global scale, and particularly in the Pacific. But even beyond Lend-Lease and the real financial lifeline that it represents for Britain before the U.S. joins the war effort, Roosevelt is keen to tighten diplomatic ties between Britain and America and to prepare the American people for the idea that there could be an actual alliance to fight against Hitler between the two countries. And so Roosevelt and Churchill meet in Placentia Bay, which is off of Canada, closer, crucially, to the United States than to the United Kingdom in August of 1941. And they hammer out what becomes the Atlantic Charter.